is find out what you have to do to prepare yourself to be calm. Like, when people get reactions out of you, for everything, they know if they do something that you gonna react or you gonna respond, they're gonna keep doing things because they know you're gonna give them what they want. They know you're gonna respond. Because I've done my part. So I need to know, have y'all done y'all's part? Have y'all been fruitful in my part? Because I done had my 4, okay? I've had my 4, all right?
All right, y'all, buckle up, because this one goes deeper than anyone expected. For a long time, fans believed they were watching simple reality TV drama. A few shady comments here, a cold shoulder there, maybe some tension for the cameras. But what if it wasn't random at all? What if the cracks, the awkward silences, and the sudden shifts were part of something bigger? Because lately, Melody isn't just reacting anymore. She's exposing.
I have learned that in my silence, in my focusing on the bigger picture for me and my children and what God has for me, that's where my blessings come in.
And what's coming out is painting a picture that feels less like coincidence and more like a calculated plan designed to push her right out of the circle. People who thought they understood the dynamic are now questioning everything. Old scenes are being replayed with new eyes. Conversations that once seemed harmless now feel loaded. And fans are starting to ask the same question over and over again. Was LaTisha quietly working behind the scenes to engineer Melody's exit the whole time?
Like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Like, now I don't believe anything.
What nobody expected was how calm Melody would be while all of this surfaced. No screaming matches, no dramatic breakdowns, just quiet confidence and carefully chosen words that hit harder than any public blow-up ever could. And sometimes the scariest truth doesn't come wrapped in anger, it comes wrapped in clarity. But to really understand how this moment exploded, we have to go back, way back. Back to when trust still existed, when alliances felt genuine, and when Melody believed the people around her weren't secretly counting her out.
Showing people stuff on his phone forever. Like the whole revenge porn thing, that did happen. That is a true thing that really happened. And not only have he shown people stuff in his phone of his ex-wife, he's also showed people stuff in his phone with his baby mother.
When Melody first entered this space, she wasn't just another cast member trying to secure screen time. She came in with vision, ambition, and a real sense of purpose. She believed in building together, growing together, and creating something bigger than individual egos. That mindset shaped how she treated people. She extended grace, she opened doors, she gave chances even when others might have pulled back. LaTisha, on the other hand, always moved differently. From the outside, she appeared reserved, soft-spoken, even misunderstood. She often positioned herself as the peacemaker, the one tired of drama, the woman just trying to protect her family and marriage. And for a while, that image worked. Viewers sympathized with her, cast members underestimated her, Melody included. In those early days, there was tension, sure, but it felt manageable. Little disagreements, clashing personalities, moments where opinions didn't line up. Nothing that screamed betrayal, nothing that suggested one person was actively trying to remove the other from the equation. Melody believed that whatever issues existed could be handled through conversation and accountability. But behind closed doors, dynamics were shifting. As seasons passed, Melody started noticing patterns that didn't sit right. Invitations she wasn't included in, conversations happening without her knowledge, people she once trusted suddenly acting distant or guarded. At first, she brushed it off. Everyone gets busy, everyone has off moments. But the feeling didn't go away, it grew heavier. What nobody talks about enough is how isolating it feels to sense something is wrong but not have concrete proof. You don't want to sound paranoid, you don't want to accuse without evidence, so you stay quiet, you observe. And that's exactly what Melody did. Meanwhile, LaTisha was building connections quietly. She wasn't loud about it, she didn't make grand announcements, she aligned herself with people who, for one reason or another, weren't on Melody's side. And the timing of it all, that's what raised eyebrows later on. Every time Melody found herself in a vulnerable position, LaTisha seemed to be strengthening bonds with those who benefited from Melody losing influence. But here's the twist. Melody didn't realize the full scope until much later. Things really started to unravel when key conversations from off-camera began making their way back to her. Comments that were repeated, advice that felt suspiciously strategic, situations where Melody was painted as difficult, controlling, or expendable. The narrative was slowly being rewritten, and Melody wasn't holding the pen. The more she listened, the clearer it became. This wasn't just hurt feelings or misunderstandings, this felt like positioning. LaTisha had mastered the art of plausible deniability. She rarely said anything outright. Instead, she asked questions that planted seeds. She expressed concern that subtly shifted blame. She played the role of the calm observer while chaos unfolded around her. And when things went left, her hands always looked clean. On camera, she leaned into peace. Off camera, the story was different. Melody began connecting the dots when she realized how often LaTisha appeared at the center of conversations about her absence or relevance. Every time Melody's commitment was questioned, LaTisha's voice had been present somewhere in the background. Every time someone wondered whether Melody still fit, LaTisha had already offered an alternative perspective. What made it worse was how personal it felt. This wasn't about business disagreements or creative differences. This was about erasing someone's value, about making it easier for others to imagine a future without Melody in it. And when Melody finally confronted the situation internally, the betrayal hit hard. She wasn't just losing trust in one person, she was realizing that multiple people may have been influenced to see her differently. That hurts on a level cameras can't capture. It shakes your confidence. It makes you question your instincts. And for a moment, Melody did exactly that. But instead of exploding, she stepped back. She watched how LaTisha moved, how she spoke, how she framed herself as innocent while benefiting from the fallout. Melody noticed how LaTisha never directly attacked her, yet somehow always walked away stronger when Melody took a hit. That's when it clicked. This wasn't accidental, it was intentional. Behind the scenes, whispers turned into receipts, messages that suggested conversations had been guided, moments that felt staged, people who admitted they'd been encouraged to speak up at very specific times. The puzzle pieces started fitting together, and the picture they formed was ugly. Melody realized that if she reacted emotionally, she'd only prove the narrative being pushed about her. So she did the opposite. She went silent. No long Instagram lives, no cryptic quotes, no public callouts, just distance. She unfollowed, she disengaged, and she redirected her energy into her work, her growth, and her peace. That silence spoke volumes. Fans noticed, industry folks noticed, and the people who expected a meltdown were left waiting for something that never came. Meanwhile, the environment around LaTisha shifted. With Melody no longer playing into the drama, attention turned elsewhere. People started questioning motives, rewatching scenes, picking up on patterns they'd ignored before. Suddenly, LaTisha's neutral stance didn't feel so neutral anymore. It felt strategic. Some fans began pointing out how often LaTisha benefited when Melody was sidelined. Others noticed how quickly LaTisha adapted her image depending on public reaction. When sympathy worked, she leaned into it. When strength was rewarded, she shifted into that role. It wasn't necessarily evil, but it was calculated. And here's where it gets emotional. Melody wasn't just protecting her brand, she was protecting her sanity. Betrayal from someone you never fully trusted hurts, but betrayal from someone you gave the benefit of the doubt to, that cuts deeper. It makes you revisit every interaction, every smile, every moment you thought was real. Family members felt it too. The stress, the emotional weight, the pressure of watching someone you love be slowly pushed out of spaces they helped build. Melody had to balance being strong publicly while processing disappointment privately. Career-wise, the attempted exit didn't work the way some hoped. Instead of fading, Melody evolved. She diversified. She focused on ventures that didn't require approval from anyone who doubted her. And in doing so, she reminded everyone why she was a central figure in the first place. What nobody expected was how the tables would turn. LaTisha may have thought staying quiet would shield her, but silence invites scrutiny. The more Melody thrived without engaging, the more questions surfaced about who had really been pulling strings. And once fans start questioning authenticity, there's no easy way to shut that down. This situation left emotional scars, no doubt. Trust was broken, relationships changed permanently. But it also revealed something powerful about Melody. She didn't need to scream to be heard. She didn't need to destroy anyone to defend herself. She simply let the truth surface in its own time. And now, as Melody finally speaks up, not with rage, but with clarity, the story feels complete. Not because everyone agrees, but because the fog has lifted. The powerful part of this ending isn't revenge, it's growth. Melody didn't exit quietly like some hoped. She stepped back, reassessed, and re-entered on her own terms. She showed that being underestimated can become an advantage, that being betrayed doesn't have to break you, and that sometimes the people trying to push you out accidentally push you into your next level. As for LaTisha, her role in all of this will continue to be debated. Some will say she played the game smart, others will say she crossed the line. But one thing is clear, the truth has a way of catching up to everyone. And in a world where loyalty is rare and perception is everything, this story is a reminder that quiet strength often speaks the loudest. Because when the cameras stop rolling and the alliances fall apart, what's left is who you really are. And Melody, she made sure that part of the story could never be erased.